It's Leatherwolf right here with Wicked Ways, and that one going out to our host, Uncontrolled Noise, Corey over there at Uncontrolled Noise, the guy who has made it possible for us to play copywritten music again here on Saturday nights. So my hat's off to Corey, and there's some Leatherwolf for him.
Yeah, Corey's good people, man, and he's saving us a bunch of money by paying the royalties, so good on him.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Corey's got deep pockets.
Yeah, well, he's doing well, and from what I hear, the station is quickly gaining its popularity again, so all is good, man, as far as I know.
Excellent. Well, speaking of popularity with digital media,
yes.
I talked earlier about, listening to podcasts and kind of discovering, a lot of independent broadcasters out there.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy that he's been around a while, I never really consistently watched him.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really know a whole lot about him, but he does a video podcast every day. He does these 8 to 10 minute hits. His segments, I don't know what this guy does for a living. I don't know if he makes his money on his YouTube page and all these other things, but he's one of these guys who is fighting against the man, I guess.
Okay.
He doesn't have any real political affiliation. He might have libertarian leanings, might have more conservative leanings.
All right.
But he does, like I said, his video segments range about 8 to 10 minutes long each, and he probably does 3 to 4 of them a day on the various subjects.
Okay.
Whether it's political or whether it's social or, just all kinds of things. And, he's got a lot of good points, and he's a very stream of consciousness guy. And he doesn't seem like he prepares like a speech or anything. It's just all the top of his head.
Right.
Well, the name of the video podcast, you can find it on YouTube. This guy goes by the name of Styx, just like the band.
Mm-hmm.
Hexenhammer 666.
Styx Hexenhammer 666.
Yeah. And he happens to be a friend of our friend Razorfist.
Okay.
Who is also one of these video podcaster guys who does a really bang up job.
Sure.
With his, he does the Metal Mythos series, and just an amazing off the cuff, off the top of his head guy who could just ramble stuff off like, he's just got a knack for doing that.
Okay.
And this guy has a good stream of consciousness thought, and one of them that caught my eye, or my ear rather, is his talking about various outlets being deplatformed due to their content.
Okay.
One of the ones, of course, that is the most notable in recent events is Alex Jones and his InfoWars.
Right.
No matter what you think of Alex Jones, whether you think he's a crackpot or a kook or whatever the case may be, he's had a successful broadcast for many years, but yet he got deplatformed off of YouTube, and PayPal took away his ability to take donations, and his service providers pulled out from under him, and Twitter won't let him use Twitter, and Facebook won't let him use Facebook. Right. So all these people or rather entities banded together and collectively took Alex Jones off of, or to use the term, deplatformed him.
Mm-hmm.
And all because of his content or his belief or his message. And I'm afraid to say, but I think we're going to see more and more of that happening.
You think, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know that I agree, but I think you might see it. I think someone is going to raise up, and it's not going to shock me if it's Gab. I really think that there's going to somebody is going to realize how much money is being left on the table by these assholes, and they're going to take it.
Right. Well, speaking of Gab, they got deplatformed.
But they're back.
They are back, but the thing is they got deplatformed for a week.
Yeah.
They got, who was it? Did GoDaddy pull their domain?
Yeah, I think it was GoDaddy.
GoDaddy pulled their domain. I think PayPal pulled their funding, the way that they receive funding, and their service provider pulled their internet, and everybody pulled out from under them. But fortunately for Gab, whatever resources that they had, they were able to regroup and get back online. I guess they're doing it through a foreign thing, so they aren't using stateside resources. They had to go to like Europe or something.
Hey, whatever it takes. In today's world, that's the way it is. But if I know anything, and I don't claim to know anything, no matter what the fucking dummies on YouTube say that we should do more research before we say anything, I don't know anything, but I do know this. Conservative people spend money. And if there's a way to make money by being conservative, there will be someone that's going to fucking take that money.
Right. Well, I agree with that, but my overall concern is this censorship stuff. It's just like, I don't like what you said. I don't like what you stand for. I don't like your message. I don't like your language. I don't like this. I don't like that. So we're going to pull your ability to spread your message.
Sure. But still, it's been at the company level, not the government level.
True. That is true. I agree.
So, and that goes back to what I was saying is there will be somebody that will let you say fuck, cunt, nigger, and whatever else. Faggot. There will be somebody that's willing to take that money to allow you to say those things.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not arguing that at all. And this goes back to even, 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe longer. I can't remember. But those of you who were so invested into Facebook,
right?
Facebook took my pictures and they took my content, and this is my page, and they shut my page down. It's not your page. It belongs to Facebook. You're just using it.
And every time you upload a picture, you're giving them permission to use it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my stuff.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, I thought I would play this guy's commentary about stopping using PayPal for donation processing because of its appeasing the people who are what do you want to call?
It's appeasing the left.
Yeah, they're appeasing anybody who's willing to deplatform you because of your message or your belief or your political or your social affiliation if they don't like it.
Sure.
So I thought he was pretty on point here. So we'll run through this and we'll kind of analyze what he has to say. But because you and I are internet broadcasters and we do offer a message, be it silly or not, I really do think, and I know that you've done a lot of prepping for this, but I really do think there's going to be a time where somebody's going to come and say, we're going to shut you down.
Us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's definitely coming. And that's why I'm always, building different avenues so that we can keep doing the show.
Right, exactly. All right.
I definitely have a B plan.
Okay. And it's a shame that you have to think that way.
Yeah, but you know what? You have to be that way these days.
Yep.
You just have to.
All right. Well, let's see what Styx Hexenhammer 666 has to say about PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. In response to the fiscal deplatforming of certain groups by PayPal recently, I've decided to stop really using them. I'm going to keep the account open because there are certain things you can only do through them, but really, ultimately, all you need is a debit card through your bank. So you don't need to use PayPal to accept donations. Like some people take tips on it or something. I shy away from that generally. The recurrent donations make more sense. Or, if you want a tip, use fucking Bitcoin or something. Then it's, totally outside of the realm of normal financing. But
all right. Again, I think you and I have had this discussion. I just don't understand Bitcoin at all.
I don't either. And from what I understand, it fucking imploded on itself over the weekend or during the week, rather.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I don't know how that turns into currency or monetary. How do you change? How do you cash in a Bitcoin?
Yeah, the thing to me is if it's anonymous, how do you keep track of what's yours?
I guess I don't understand the whole thing. Maybe if I did a little more research,
Yeah.
I would understand it. But apparently some people are down with using it for whatever reason.
I know this. I'm never going to use it until everybody's using it.
Yep.
I'll just be honest. I'm not going to be. I have no interest in being ahead of the curve when it means risking my money.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Fuck that.
I agree. Okay, here we go.
But PayPal has been on the forefront of the deplatforming, sort of purging users. They have apparently done this to some UKIP party members recently. They did it certainly to Gab. They've done it to BitChute, among other groups. I find that inappropriate. I think that if a group is engaged predominantly with e-commerce, the only legitimate reason they should be kicking an account off is if the account is suspected, at least, to be engaged in criminal behavior under U.S. law. If that's the case, it should be referred to investigators to temporarily suspend their account pending the investigation. And then when that's over, of course, the decision's been made. Or if you know them, like they got convicted of murder or something, then yeah, you can get rid of their PayPal. They're a fucking murderer. But if a person is not attempting to fundraise for dubious purposes, like they're just saying, hey, people can donate to me, I make like news commentary or I have a podcast or something, PayPal shouldn't be engaged in that behavior. And make no mistake, like with deplatforming that's happening on the social media side as well as the fiscal side, these companies are not in a vacuum choosing to do this on their own. Virtually all of these instances are prefaced by hit pieces that are written in the media or by hit piece raids started by craptivistic groups. We've seen some of them, like the Stop Hate people, that show up and they complain and they threaten to complain to the advertisers that work with these sites in order to try to blackmail them essentially into doing this. Now, this does rise, in my opinion, to the level of criminal harassment.
All right. So that goes back to everything we've talked about here recently about, somebody doing something stupid and posting a dumb picture on Facebook or something, and these people go to their employer.
Yeah.
I'm taking your job away from you because you posed in blackface at a Halloween party.
Yeah, pal, you're fired and should be killed.
Yeah, exactly. So his point, being that PayPal is making these quote-unquote moral decisions to, pull your funding or pull your ability to get funding through PayPal because I don't agree with you.
Yeah, well, at some point, there, and I still honestly believe this. It's kind of like if you take anything that has been, I don't know, highly askew, and I don't want to compare this directly, but just for the point of this discussion, I'm going to compare this to like the civil rights movement. Remember how far to one side it was when they were trying to let people into the church or into school, and then they were burning people, and you remember how bad it was in the city, or you've seen video of how bad it was,
right?
And then it sort of shifted back, into a moderate place for a while, and then an okay place, and now it's sort of shifting back again. I think that's where we're at with speech right now, is that it's just in a crazy spot right now, and the pendulum is gonna swing back the other way. It's not gonna. I don't believe for a second it's just gonna stay this way forever. I honestly can't fathom that people are this weak that they're just going to accept being told what they can and can't say. Eventually, there's going to be the right lawsuit against the right big company that's going to cost $1 billion fucking dollars, and all of this bullshit is going to go away. And PayPal might very well be the one that gets sued, because they may have changed their language now, but when people set up their PayPal accounts, there was no way that there was any kind of thing about your message as part of your PayPal. Everything in their terms and service was about not doing illegal business.
Right. Which you just said is suspect of
Yeah.
some kind of illegality.
Yeah, so somebody, and I think Alex Jones is suing PayPal, actually. And it might be Alex Jones that takes this fucking argument where it needs to go to. Because at some point, somebody has to be the one to say, you know what, fuck you, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not good, I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's legal business practice to penalize people from... It doesn't seem like it's a legal business practice to tell people that they can't do business with you because of their thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
You know, I mean, it's fine if you're out there saying, we got to go out today and kill black people or kill Asians today or whatever. Okay, well, now you're inciting violence. Little different. You know, just saying, I don't agree with fucking, the left or whatever, or I believe in aliens and frogs being gay, that does not constitute, anything illegal. So to be able to say, well, I'm not going to do business with them. How is that any different than the fucking baker that didn't want to make the gay cake?
No difference.
It's exactly the same. So, I think Alex Jones has a very good case against PayPal, and we'll see how it all plays out. But, and the worst part is that right now everybody's just standing around waiting to see what's going to happen. We're right in the middle of it, which leaves a lot of confusion, I guess. But it'll all equal out. I think it'll all equal out in the end. Don't you?
Yeah, just got to ride the storm out, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And if it happens to us, it happens to us.
Right.
Whatever. We'll still be on in some platform somewhere. I promise you guys.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
If you are going after another person in a systemic manner cross-platform and trying to get them kicked off despite the fact that in many cases they objectively have not broken any terms of service, I think that should be counted as harassment and it should be referred to prosecution. That's my opinion. I think that's one way to handle this. The other thing is this. There are two groups primarily involved with this. Both of them have a fiscal motivation in mind. The craptivistic groups work directly with these advertising firms in many cases anyway, and they certainly work with political movements. So they have a fiscal motivation. Look, a lot of these independent commentators have views that are simply anti-establishment. Don't give me this shit about them being far right. Some of these people are self-proclaimed leftists. You see people on the left, like deplatforming some Antifa pages. Now, Antifa is a little different because it's a recognized terrorist movement, but insofar as the members thereof, in a non-organized capacity, haven't necessarily committed themselves personally any crime, their simple group membership, I'm somewhat uncomfortable with them being deplatformed too. Yes, even Antifa members. Look, a person can say, well, I'm in Antifa. I belong to this Facebook page for Antifa. Okay. Well, unless you're throwing rocks and attacking police and taking part in riots or something, you don't necessarily break any law. You could just be a passive member who shitposts online. No, I don't think you should be deplatformed at all. No, I don't think that being a member of such a group, unless it is directly encouraging, like literally inciting violence, more than situationally, no, I don't think you should be deplatformed either.
There's your point right there.
Yeah, exactly. Me and this guy on the same page.
Well, that's why I watch this guy.
Yeah.
Because he basically lays it out there pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
But in the wake of Gab and BitChute, it's really BitChute's the straw that breaks the camel's back for me. BitChute being deplatformed by PayPal, okay, that's enough. I don't want to do business with them. And so if you are a Patreon donor now, you can do that knowing that, no, PayPal is not getting a cut of it. I encourage you to cancel your use of PayPal as well. Because the only way that we're going to rise above the craptivistic groups using the fiscal, mechanisms of the online world to try to stop all anti-establishment opposition to corruption and authoritarianism and so forth. The only way that stops is with a pushback. That is, creators have to get together and make it clear to these sites, okay, well, then you don't need my business anymore. because it's all about money for them. They're doing this because they're afraid of losing money if their advertisers get pissed off. See, these groups are threatening to contact their advertisers. Well, you do business with Gab. Gab is bad. Green Frog bad. Therefore, you should sever ties with them, even if they haven't actually done anything wrong. So look for a reason to cut them loose, or we'll contact your advertisers.
So there you go. I'm threatening you. I'm gonna take your job away from you.
Yeah, pal. Which, by the way, just so that people are aware, we do have a BitChute page, which is bitshoot.com/Classic Metal Show. If we're ever taken off of YouTube, we do have a BitChute page.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you even know what BitChute is.
I do not know. I'm learning about it, because I know that there's, all these alternate platforms out there that go up against the Twitters and the Facebooks of the world and the YouTubes of the world.
Yeah, BitChute is YouTube. BitChute is nothing but videos. You post your videos on BitChute.
Okay.
And I have ours set that anything that we post on YouTube automatically goes to BitChute. So we do have a BitChute page.
Fair enough.
It's blackmail, and it's the criminal behavior that they're engaged in. The other group that's responsible is the corporate media. They're doing it particularly because whether it's left, right, or center doesn't really matter. Independent commentators are displacing them. We are systemically outperforming as a group the corporate media, cable, old school terrestrial radio, and newsprint. You combine all of their numbers together, it's probably about the same at this point as the alt media cross-platform. Yeah, I wonder why they would want to put the screws to them. Look at all the hit pieces that are written. So a hit piece is written about BitChute. The next day they get deplatformed by PayPal. Total coincidence, dude. No correlation whatsoever. BitChute's not even apparently really on the radar of the craptivists. I haven't seen anything about them. They're too worried about Gab for the most part. So you know that it was a hit piece that was written and then replicated ad nauseum by a bunch of other bot accounts that are run by the stupid authoritarians themselves. Now, these are organized attacks, and they're motivated by money. They're not motivated by, the right wing is so bad, we're going to deplatform hate. That's not what it's about. It's about money. It's human greed. These are corporations, and so, unfortunately, the U.S. government, by not blocking them from deplatforming people at all, is encouraging it in a de facto sense, because it has created a situation in which it's possible for these groups to be blackmailed by a bunch of activists, or coerced by the corporate media. The corporate media browbeat YouTube for weeks before they deplatformed InfoWars. It was led by CNN and the New York Times. Do you remember that? How they were talking about, they've got all these videos that violate their terms of service and all. They began that struggle against InfoWars to try to kick them off YouTube. And when InfoWars then simply grew larger everywhere else, they deplatformed them off the rest of the internet. It was prefaced on defamatory hit pieces. Absolutely it is. They're breaking your rules. They're horrible. We should talk to your advertisers about this. Another problem, the interconnected and monopolistic corporate structures of the world means that a lot of those advertisers work with the corporate media too. Like a company might buy ad space and have sort of a seat at the table at the New York Times, and they might also be working on YouTube or Facebook or something. It's interconnected. Because it's so interconnected and thus oligarchic in the corporate sense, we have a corporate oligarchy that operates in the internet realm. In some cases, you have an outright monopoly on subgenres within the internet, or at least a duopoly like app stores. It's an app store, there are two companies that control the apps. Google controls half of it, and Crapple controls half of it.
He's obviously not an Apple guy.
No, just not.
All right.
Google has a very, very slight edge in being more pro-free speech than Crapple. Believe it or not, Apple was above the fray until a couple of years ago and didn't care as long as you bought their overpriced shit. But essentially, you have a corporate monopoly. They need to be regulated in some way. I don't care. It doesn't matter how you do it. I favor an Internet Bill of Rights. I favor the extension of the First and Fourth Amendments to cover the Internet as an explicit tool of human communications for pragmatic and economic purposes. This is how you sell it to the right wing. Say, hey, you're missing out on all of this wonderful wealth generation by having creators stymied. It's more efficient. It's going to generate more wealth long term. It makes the U.S. presence online hegemonic. Why the hell wouldn't you want to support that? Why the hell wouldn't you want e-commerce to be as common as possible? You should hope that the money flows around because every transaction is taxed. By deplatforming people, they're reducing potential taxable income for certain groups of people.
Isn't that what I said?
That's what you said.
That's exactly what I said about fucking that somebody will make the money.
Yeah, because like you said, they're leaving the money on the table by deplatforming people.
Yeah. Someone's going to take that money.
Mm-hmm.
You should be opposed to this. And for the liberals, it's like, well, you supported net neutrality. You don't want the ISPs to be able to boot people off or throttle them. To throttle one commerce site over another, one social platform over another, or to ban a user because they don't agree with them. You want them to be considered essentially public utilities. Well, then why not domain registrars? Why not the banking systems online? If you're going to have a monopolistic system, that system should be banned from discriminating against people. We say that some brick and mortar small business, some little farm doesn't do gay marriages, they get sued because it's such a blight on society if someone is discriminated against. And yet we don't consider political beliefs to be a protected class. We should. That's the other possibility. Simply insert into equal protection nominal legislation, say, hey, political beliefs shall be covered the same way religious beliefs, creed, and things like that are. Look, religion's a choice. So it's obvious that that doesn't play a role, whether it's a choice or a birth status. So then why not just extend it to political beliefs? No more problem. But yeah, I've stopped using PayPal. I'm not going to deal with it. There's no reason for me to use it. I can use my debit card online. You know, there are certain eBay sellers. I use eBay. I use Amazon for publishing, but I use eBay for actually buying things usually, even though Amazon shipping is admittedly a lot faster. I like sort of the combination yard sale and junk store style of eBay a lot more. Just my own personal opinion. But like on there are certain sellers now you can't use PayPal. Like they've actually begun experimenting with that. Amazon doesn't take PayPal. So like if you're doing e-commerce, I don't know why you'd bother actually. I mean, again, we need to put pressure on them. It's not that I have a stick up my ass about the company itself. It's I don't want them to continue that style of behavior. Just like the activists on the other side do want them to continue that. They want to weaponize the fiscal systems of the world and social media platforms against people they politically disagree with or that compete with them in a fiscal sense. So we need to push back. It's as simple as that. We're much more numerous. The number of people potentially abused is much larger than the number of abusers. So, yeah, I think PayPal would eventually side with us. Yeah, absolutely. That's about all.
All right, so there you are.
You know, PayPal would probably die the fastest death known to man if these banks would just make it easier to use their system for online banking.
Right.
You know, and I can speak on this as a tech, you know, because I do a lot of, I mean, I build a lot of web stores and shit like that. And the banks, you know, most of the time with an app, like I'll use WooCommerce, which is one that a lot of people use. To do WooCommerce with a PayPal account, you literally put in your email address and save, and it's done. And it works. And then whenever you buy something, it goes to PayPal and does the PayPal purchase. To do it with a bank, you got to get approval from the bank. You got to open a channel. You got to contact them and have them approve the path. And then you have to do tests. And it's a real shitstorm just to do banking with them. And that's before you even get to the fees of doing it through your bank. I mean, it's such a fucking hassle to set up that little guys don't use it. But man, if the banks would figure out a way to set up a similar, and it's obviously there because PayPal does it. If a bank would just say, okay, Chase Bank, you know, has a plug-in and you plug it into your store and you put in your email address and anything that processes through that email address goes to your bank account.
Right.
Fucking no one would use PayPal. Nobody wants to use PayPal. That's the biggest myth of everything, is that people think that PayPal is something that anybody wants to use. No one wants to use PayPal. Nobody at all. So, you know, but people do just out of convenience.
Yeah, and obviously they were the first one to establish that type of pay system online.
Yeah, because, I mean, Google built their own PayPal, which no one uses, that Google Wallet. You know, have you ever used Google Wallet?
Nope.
And that's been out 10 years. And you've probably never done one transaction with Google Wallet.
I have not.
I've done like one or two maybe, but not enough to matter. You know, and that's Google. certainly Google has enough stroke to get, if they really wanted to get it out there, they could. You would think they have enough money to fucking challenge PayPal, don't you think?
You would think so. But didn't their social media shut down their didn't even Google shut down their Google, what is it, Google Plus?
I don't know if they shut it down or they're planning to, but I know it's going away because
it didn't work either.
Yeah, Google has too many fingers and too many pies.
Yeah,
they need to just make search engines and steal money from Google Ads.